All right, guys. So this topic is a particularly exciting one for me because I get to talk about one of my favorite podcasts that I like to listen to called the All In Podcast. Now, this podcast features 4 or 5 billionaire venture capitalist friends that all kind of come together and talk about political issues of today. Okay. And one of the reasons why I like it is because they don't necessarily agree with each other. And they're able to disagree without getting mad at each other and hating each other, right? They still remain friends despite the fact that they have significant disagreements. So it's one of the reasons why I actually really like watching it, right? I find it to be very insightful. Highly recommend it. However, this podcast has made the news, right? Particularly the right-wing conservative news, because one of the people on the podcast, Mr. Chamath Palihapitiya, who is a minority owner of the Golden State Warriors, made some very controversial comments about the Uyghurs situation in China. Now, the NBA and Nike and people like LeBron James have been called out heavily regarding the Uyghurs situation in China, because in the US, they are all about social justice, right? They're all about, human rights, okay, and doing the right thing, okay, and standing up for the downtrodden. However, they do business with China, a country that is allegedly violating human rights, right? That allegedly has concentration camps. Okay. So this guy actually spoke about this situation directly. Again, he's a minority owner of the Golden State Warriors, and his comments made a lot of people's heads turn and pissed a lot of people off in regards to what he had to say about this situation. Take a look.
His China policy, the fact that he came out with a statement on the Uyghurs, I thought was very strong. It's one of the stronger things he did, but it's not coming up in the polls. And I think that whole Republicans interested in getting Hillary to run again is
nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? You bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care. I'm just telling you a very hard...
Wait, you're saying you personally don't care?
I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth, okay? Of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Okay? Of all the things that I care about, it is below my line.
Disappointing.
Well, I think people, if you explain to them what's happening to the Uyghurs in China, they care, but it's not top of mind for them.
That's not
what's
caring.
Top of mind right now is they go to their grocery store and the shelves are empty.
Sure, that I care about. Yeah, I care about the fact that our economy could turn on a dime if China invades Taiwan. I care about that. I care about climate change. I care about I care about America's crippling and decrepit healthcare infrastructure. But if you're asking me, do I care about a segment of a class of people in another country? Not until we can take care of ourselves will I prioritize them over us. And I think a lot of people believe that. And I'm sorry if that's a hard truth to hear. But every time I say that I care about the Uyghurs, I'm really just lying if I don't really care. And so I'd rather not lie to you and tell you the truth. It's not a priority for me.
And my response to that is, I think it's a sad state of affairs when human rights as a concept globally, falls beneath, tactical and strategic issues that we have to have. We need to have a high
luxury
watermark.
belief. That's another luxury belief.
I don't believing in the Human Declaration of Human Rights that Eleanor Roosevelt created with the United Nations. I don't think it's a luxury belief to believe that all humans should have a basic set of human rights.
I think it's a luxury belief.
Right.
And the reason I think it's a luxury belief is we don't do enough domestically to actually express that view in real tangible ways. So until we actually clean up our own house, the idea that we step outside of our borders with us sort of like morally virtue signaling about somebody else's human rights track record is deplorable. Look at the number of black and brown men that are
far from deplorable.
Look at the number of black and brown men that are incarcerated for absolutely ridiculous crimes.
All right, guys. So you can tell this guy's woke, right? He's woke, but he's billionaire woke, right? He's rich. He's rich woke, okay? In the sense that he's like, listen, I'm woke, but I'm not too woke to get in the way of the bottom line, right? That's basically what he's saying in a nutshell, right? And I have two perspectives on this conversation and what this guy was saying. And I'm gonna give you the first perspective. The first perspective is that it's kind of a bad look to say something like this when you are the minority owner of a NBA team, right? And in a league that has virtue signal about so-called social justice here in the United States, okay? And racism and all this other stuff, human rights, stuff like that, right? Now, the thing is that what he would be saying would be correct in regards to, hey, you know what? I really don't care about them because I only care about the people here. this is our own backyard. We need to clean up our own backyard. I don't think people necessarily disagree with that as much as it's the fact that, well, you're virtue signaling about this, but the NBA also does business in China, right? The NBA is selling products to China. The NBA has games sponsored in China. Okay, the NBA is trying to expand their market into China. So those people are your constituents as well, right? How China treats those people is also relevant because you're doing business there. Okay, so with that being said, why is the NBA not virtue signaling in China, right? Why are they not putting Uyghur Lives Matter on the courts of China, right? That's what they should be doing. You conduct business over there, but they're not doing that, right? You're not doing that because you know that if you did that, then China would kick you out. They would say, no, you can't do business here. So that's the reason that you're not doing it, right? So to sit here and say that, well, you know what? I don't care about them because, we have our own stuff to clean up here, right? And I'm cool with virtue signaling about all the bad stuff here, but I'm not going to virtue signal about all the bad stuff going on in China, a place that, again, these guys, the NBA has a significant stake in. In my opinion, I think it's disingenuous, right? Same argument applies to Nike in the NBA as a whole, right? You do a significant amount of business in China. Those people are your constituents as well. Okay, it's one thing if you didn't do business there. If you didn't do business there, I'd be like, listen, hey, dude, 100% correct. Like I kind of am with him on this to a certain extent, right? Because again, he doesn't have anything to do with China. He's like, I'm worried about myself. I'm worried about America first. I ain't got no problem with that because again, I am an America first person, right? We need to put America above other folks, right? I have no qualms about that, right? I will always put America over anybody else. Okay, I'm Team America. I bang America. Okay, but there's also the issue of his own background and his come up, right? From a moral perspective. His family escaped Sri Lanka because there was a civil war going on. He came to Canada as a refugee, right? So, a country like Canada or the US, because they cared about the refugees in Sri Lanka, is the only reason that this dude was able to come to Canada first and then eventually America to become a billionaire, right? And now props to him for being a family of a refugee and, his family not necessarily coming from a good background and, him, working at Burger King and working a minimum wage job and going to school for electrical engineering and then working his way up in the finance industry, right? Kudos to him for making the American dream happen, right? But a part of that American dream was the fact that countries like Canada and America was benevolent enough, right, to allow your family to come over here and to have that opportunity. Right? The fact that they actually cared about what was going on in Sri Lanka, right? Again, a country that I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't all that familiar with. So, yeah, I do think it's a little effed up for him to have this perspective, considering his own family background and the fact that the NBA does business in China, significant business in China. Now, the other perspective is this, right? Is, hey, you know what? I kind of respect this dude a whole lot for just coming out here and saying what we all know that NBA owners and the elites actually believe. That they actually really don't give a damn about human rights and stuff like that. And a lot of that stuff is used simply just for virtue signaling. Because companies like Nike actually gave a damn about human rights, they wouldn't be using slave labor, right? Or allegedly had used slave labor in the past, okay? That would never be an issue if they actually cared. None of them actually really care. And again, I kind of respect them for coming out and saying, no, I just don't care. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make money. I have a whole lot of respect for people who just come out and just tell the truth, right? Don't woke virtue signal to me. Don't make up any BS. Don't act like you care when you really don't. It's all about the money, right? I mean, it's similar to kind of how I feel about, Saudi Arabia and the fact that the U.S. is allied with Saudi Arabia while at the same time saying that, hey, we care about human rights. And I'm like, you can't say that you care about human rights and you in bed with Saudi Arabia. I mean, they were on the UN's Human Rights Council, okay? Up until recently. They just lost their seat on the council. Just lost their seat like a year ago, okay? But the reality is this. Some of these people, yeah, they may care about human rights, but only up to a certain point. Only up to the point where it does not affect the bottom line, right? Or it pads the bottom line, okay? Once the human rights gets in the way of the bottom line, oh, no, we don't really care about it anymore. And if you come out here and just say it, hey, I really don't have all that much criticism for you outside of more criticisms, but At least you told the truth, right? At least you're upfront. At least you are upfront about what everybody already knows. So again, from a certain perspective, people that come out here and just say how they actually really feel and tell you, yeah, we really don't care. We just try to make money. I kind of respect it because, again, it tells you what we already know, and we don't have to sit here and pretend like this is being done because, you actually care about human rights and people of color and all that other stuff. No, you really don't care. You simply just want to make money, right? I might disagree with you from a moral perspective, but I respect it in the sense that, hey, you know what? At least you're upfront about it, right? At least you're upfront about it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.